And let me tell you a little bit about her. She is going to, let's see, let me see here to make sure that you can. Uh-oh, I won't do that again. Okay, so we're going to introduce you to a very special young lady. Her name is Samantha Benson. Samantha, first of all, glad to have you.
I am so glad and honored, Miss Kim.
Well,
Oh
I'm
my
glad.
goodness, thank you.
So glad. Let me
Thank you for
introduce
having me.
everyone. Let me introduce everyone so that people know who you are. Samantha Benson is a licensed insurance advisor, telemedicine manager broker, founding director and member of MWR Financial, elite business to business consultant, entrepreneur, former vice president of the Chesapeake Sustainable Business Council of DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and she's a visionary. She does not live by title, but by character of heart of Christ Jesus. She has worked in the financial administration, insurance industry for over 20 years, working diligently and directly with the top leaders of all fields: presidents, CEOs, vice presidents, rear admirals, program directors, associate directors, and chief of divisions. She has two amazing young adult children: Cameron, who's her son in Arlington, Virginia, and Taylor, her daughter of Alexandria, Virginia. Samantha studied at Clemson University. My son, I would love you. That's God. We went to the
I
college
guess
football.
I'm wearing kind of orange today.
And she studied at Clemson University in financial management and Spartanburg Methodist College in business administration, and she incorporates her professional, educational courses from top business leaders, business industry, and strategies to success models. Samantha's purpose, her passion, and her ministry are to serve people to arrive at financial stability in their lives
Yes.
using the tools of insurance as an outcome and multiple streams of income for them and their families generationally. Welcome, Samantha Benson.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me okay, Miss Kim Jacobs?
I can hear you just fine. You
Oh,
look great,
awesome.
sound great, and I'm excited. So I'm trying to make sure that people get the opportunity. If you want to post a comment, make sure that you post your comment here right here where we are, and Samantha will see it or I will see it and share it with her. Let me make sure if anybody's posting a comment, then
Yes,
I can.
please do. This is participant. Participation is a must.
Yes, so we appreciate it. So right now I can see your comments, so I'll look down and make sure if there are any questions that I ask the question directly to you. So first of all, what is spinal expense? Because I saw
Oh.
that in all of your communication. What is it?
Well, Kim, I am so glad that you're asking me that particular question to start off our live interview today. So, final expense, and people get this wrong all the time because I hear them say, "Oh, I have insurance, and I don't need what you have to offer without even knowing what it is." And so many times they do that in a lot of different uh, settings because they just don't know life insurance and final expense. So, life insurance is meant, I'm going to start with that first. Life
Okay.
insurance is meant for you to have to carry on while you're alive. Final expense insurance is meant to cover your funeral arrangements and burial. And it makes sense to have a supplementary final expense policy to take care of those all those extra added things that the funeral homes are charging families. You know, when you take a life insurance policy to the when your family member dies, and the first thing that we are taught, and it's tradition, is we now take that life insurance policy to the insurance to the funeral home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kim, guess what happens?
What?
They say, Kim, I'm so sorry for, uh, your mother dying, or your sister dying, or your cousin dying, or your friend who's died. How much is your insurance policy?
Mhm.
And you say, well, my life insurance policy is $10,000. Or you say, hey, my insurance policy is $30,000. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm going to take, because you want the best for your sister. You want the best for your son,
Right.
right? You want
Yes.
the best for your loved one. I'm going to show you right over here what we have. So
Hmm.
now that life insurance policy that's meant to carry on for generation,
Hmm.
because it's meant for the next
Right.
family member to go on. You have the light bill, you have cars, you have to eat, you have to pay the taxes on a house if you have, if there's a house that's involved.
Hmm.
But it's meant for you to carry on and live. That's the most important thing, to live.
Right.
So guess what happens? Now that $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 life insurance policy is going to go, because they're going to take you to the casket and they're going to say, hey, isn't this a beautiful casket?
Wow.
And you're going to say yes.
Hmm.
And they're going to say, you know what? You said you want the best for your loved one.
Right.
So this casket, you may have a $20,000, $30,000 life insurance policy, but now this casket is $10,000.
Hmm.
Well, Kim, I'm here to tell you, you know, the casket and, and the vault that's required by law for the casket to go inside into the ground, that's required. And then, so that life insurance policy that you have, well, that's $10,000 out of a $20,000 life insurance policy that you had.
Right.
So now you have $10,000 left, but those aren't all the additional things that the funeral homes charge. I mean, it's like going to a lawyer. Before they even do anything, it can start you at $2,000. It's kind of like what a lawyer calls a retainer,
Right.
right? So then you
Oh,
have that retainer for them that may start at $2,000. Then you have all these additional charges that are going to be charged.
hmm.
So, we look good. We got our hair done really nicely, right? You
Yeah, you
know,
look good.
thank thank you for that.
I look all right.
So, so now you've got the retainer, because they're not going to do anything with that body until you pay that retainer fee.
Hmm.
And they get to set how much that retainer fee is. So then you've got to transport the body wherever your loved one has died, right? If
Hmm.
they've died in your house, the coroner has to come out. That's another charge. If they've died in the hospital, then the hospital is going to have to hold that body until the family member pays for that body to be transported.
Right.
So there is so many charges that comes into play with the funeral when your loved one dies.
Hmm.
So people say, I'm covered, I'm good, I got that $10,000 policy.
Hmm.
You're underinsured.
Wow.
Now, here is where final expense comes in. Final expense takes care of the burial. So
Hmm.
now your life insurance policy that you may have can go to the family for them to continue living. It is a living benefit. You
Hmm.
don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Wow.
And
Well,
that's just the beginning of it.
people are asking questions already, and I would love for you to be able to answer. One said that somebody said, "What? Say what now?" That's
Yes.
literally what they typed.
Yes.
Say what now? And then one person said, "How do you access your life insurance policy while you're living? How can you access your life insurance policy while you're alive?"
Well, first of all, you need to understand what type of life insurance, if you're speaking about life insurance, what kind it is. So here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing that I come up for people saying all the time. I've got life insurance on my job, I'm covered. And you're going to hear me say that over and over again because I really want people to understand we got the coronavirus going on. We just had a few months ago the government shutdown. That's our third government shutdown since 1995. How do I know? Because I was pregnant with my son 24 years ago when the government shut down. Actually, yeah, December of 1995. So when the government shuts down, you don't have life insurance if you're working, right?
That's right.
Because you've got to actually be on the job. So people say, I have $150,000, I'm covered. I have $250,000, I got it on my job. I don't need anything. I don't even want to talk to you, Samantha. Like, look at the back of my head and look at my hand because I don't want to hear you.
Wow.
That's called term, and that's called group insurance. Okay? So group insurance, and because it is an employer that actually owns that policy, the business actually owns, um, they're the owner, you're the insured. Okay? When they close the doors, like so many businesses are doing right now, just had someone tell me that Bed Bath and Beyond is going to be filing bankruptcy.
Oh.
And this is a personal friend of mine whose sister was in corporate, left another corporate job to go to Bed Bath and Beyond in the corporate sector just recently, and now she is without a job. So now she's without life insurance. Health insurance, I'm going to touch a little bit on that later, but
Right.
life insurance is valuable because when people lose their jobs, what are you going to do?
Right.
If you had a whole life policy versus a term life policy, because term life policies normally do not have cash value. And Kim, slow me down if I go too fast.
Oh no, I'm actually typing on the screen here what some of what you're saying. So you're saying a whole life policy is what you recommend. A whole life policy.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because whole life policies, um, even if you get them, you get them at $35,000. So it's $35,000 whole life policy, and it doesn't terminate.
Okay.
The premium does not increase, and it has cash value. Meaning, this comes to the question with how do you access your life insurance that was asked,
Right.
right? So with a whole life policy, about 3 years into that, it starts gaining cash value. The longer you have it, the more cash value comes. So if you
Okay.
have, say for instance, a $20,000 whole life policy, and you've had it for quite some time, you would want to reach out to me because I am an expert in the field and I'm licensed. You don't want to reach out to cousin Pookie and all of them because they don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I
I don't know if you have a real
told
cousin out there named Pookie, and you hear me oftentimes say Ray Ray and all of that. So if you do have one of those cousins, we're not trying to be offensive, okay? So we're not
I
really
mean,
trying
we're not, I am not being offensive, but so many times, even on the job when HR gives you that paperwork to fill out,
to.
you're asking your coworker who doesn't know anything about it because someone said do this, do that, to do that.
Right.
You want to go to a specialist like myself. I will do a complimentary look for you. I'm not in the business of taking something away from you that I give you the education and the knowledge and you make that decision.
Right.
But so if you have that $20,000 policy and you've had it for a while and you know, you can borrow money from yourself.
Okay.
I wouldn't say borrow the whole thing because guess what? That $20,000 policy, the death benefit was $20,000 for the whole life. Let's say you had enough. It's been around for a long time, and you say, you know what? We're going through a crisis right now. and the whole world is going through a crisis right now.
Mhm.
So you can call me, and I'll sit down with you and help you make that phone call to whichever who you carrier that you have, and say, hey, you know what? I'd like to take $2,000 out. You can
Okay.
pay yourself back,
Wow.
or you don't pay yourself back. If you don't pay yourself back, your death benefit is $2,000 less than that
Hmm.
20,000. So that's $18,000 death benefit.
Now, let me ask you, that's some amazing stuff you're saying, and I'm actually typing, so my head is down, but it's because I'm typing what you're saying and featuring that comment. So I'm actually technically being like not only the host of the show, the Kim Jacobs Show, but I'm also being your personal assistant and
Thank
typing
you.
it and I'm posting it so everyone can
And
see.
look,
So
that's why
you
I
can,
asked you, am I going too fast? Because I get super excited about
oh
this.
no, this is good information. So you're saying you can borrow money from yourself after approximately 3 years with whole life insurance. That's what I typed based on what I think I'm
Yes,
hearing.
and it will accrue cash.
Okay.
The longer the policy is, it's going to accrue more cash value.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
Um, so what people don't understand is that life insurance, again, that's the difference between life insurance and final expense. Final expense is going to take care of your burial. And I have a special program that when you have a supplemental final expense policy, and oh, Kim, you're going to love this.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me
I know
make,
one
because
thing, outside of the
I
insurance
love,
and everything, I already just love your spirit. I don't even know you like that at all, but I just love your personality. And you're like, oh, Kim, you're gonna love this. I'm like, oh, I love it already. I just
oh
love
my
you.
gosh.
I love your spirit. Go ahead.
Okay. With this special program that we have with final expense, right?
Mhm.
And I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. Um, but we have advocates for you. No other company has advocates for you in final expense except for who I'm affiliated with. That means that we negotiate every single detail of your final arrangements and your wishes. So
Like
that
a
same,
back will and trust, or I'm not because
oh
I'm
no,
not well versed in this,
no,
so you have to explain to me. What do
we
you mean
have we
negotiate?
have we have a wish team. We call them wish teams, right? So when someone gets a final expense policy with me and our program, so you not only have the insurance portion of it, but you have a membership portion of it. And
Okay.
the membership portion of it is incredible. I
Okay.
wish I had had this when I was 20, 22, and 24. When I was 20, my dad died. When I was 22, my oldest sister, died. And when I was 24, my mother died. That was every 2 years.
Oh my God.
And I had to take care of all of that. But had I had a wish team who would go in and say, you know what? The wish team, you contact the wish team when your loved one dies. You don't contact the funeral home. Hear me again. You don't contact the funeral home. You call me, Samantha Benson, because you have a membership card. And this membership not only is for yourself, it is for 4 other people in your family. So that's 5 people. Now, that's like your Costco, your Sam's Club, your BJ's, that you can get the same cost of the merchandise. And the
Okay.
merchandise is the casket, the headstone, and the vault at a low cost. Because when you go into the funeral home and you tell them how much your life insurance is, now that becomes how much that funeral is going to be.
Wait. So wait. Okay, let me make sure I want to make sure I understand, and I don't want later. You can't imagine the amount of calls I will get. I know I'm not at the Oprah level with my talk show, putting something out there and then having funeral directors whom I love dearly and that work in the funeral home. I have some people that I just absolutely adore in that field, and
Yes.
they're going to call me and say, "Why would you let her say that on your show without proper disclosures and disclaimers?" So, what do
Now,
you mean
what I
by
mean by that, funeral, and nothing against funeral homes whatsoever. Nothing. They do an excellent job. That's what they're
right?
supposed to do.
Mhm.
But they're business to business. I mean,
Okay.
that's what they are. They're in business and they are privately owned. There are no rules and regulations across the country for funeral
Okay.
homes. So when you have the membership with us, with your supplemental policy, so we have that same casket is now $1,500
Mhm.
instead of
With the
ten
funeral
thousand
home,
dollars with your membership.
with the
It's
membership, okay.
included in your supplemental policy.
So people get a discount with their supplemental policy card if they come through you as their agent to
Yes.
deal with their final expense.
You
It's not
not
that
yes, go
it's not
ahead.
that they can't contact their funeral home, but if they do, then they can expect that the charges are going to be slightly different because this offers a membership benefit discount,
Oh,
correct?
they're going to be substantially high.
Okay, okay.
Substantially high. So with the supplemental and the membership, that same casket is now $1,500. Okay, and the headstone is at a fraction of the cost. My uncle died in September last year. I went down to Greenville,
Mhm.
and I stopped by the cemetery where my parents are buried, and my sister and my grandmother. And a plain headstone with just your name on it at that particular cemetery location that they sell is $2,500.
Okay.
That's too much. That's too much. You're already stressed about the cost of funerals.
Mhm.
Why not have a supplemental policy that has a membership that you know that those rates are going to be locked in? And by law, the funeral homes cannot deny us sending them to the funeral home.
Mm, okay.
And now, not only do you know you have peace of mind with your casket, the headstone, and the vault being a fraction of a cost, you're not paying over $5,000.
Mhm.
Same high quality. When
That's
we
right.
have same high quality 18 gauge steel vault, over 250 caskets to choose from, right?
Okay. Okay.
And so you get an expert negotiator. They not only contact the funeral home, but guess what we do? Because we're not so emotionally attached, but we are attached because we represent you and the family. I'm a negotiator by heart. That's just me.
Good.
And I am such an advocate for everybody. Um,
Okay. Well,
you
people are asking
know,
questions too, so I want to
oh,
make sure I get those
yes,
questions
yes,
to
go
you.
ahead.
Someone asked if they said that this is life changing information, and they said, "Whoa, this is life changing information that you're sharing." So you're basically saying, don't tell the funeral home how much your policy is. That's what you're saying, to have them contact you directly instead of contacting the funeral home altogether. So that's the answer to that question. But the other question was, is this the same as prepaid policies?
No,
Okay.
because when does a prepaid policy, so say for instance, Kim, that I'm in Alabama and I paid a prepaid policy, right?
Hmm.
But I moved to North Carolina. I just lost all my money.
Hmm.
It doesn't transfer
Okay.
unless your family is going to uh, ship you back to, and I know that sounds crude to ship you back, but transport you back to Alabama, and it's irrevocable. You cannot get your monies back. You are locked in, and I come up with that a lot, especially with the older generation. Oh, Samantha, I'm taken care of. I've already paid that. And they have no clue because didn't really understand the fine lines that you can't even get out of that contract. I mean, it's locked. It's locked down.
And the extension to that question is, unless you are in a nationwide program, right? That's what the person said.
What
Unless
was the
you're in,
question?
so the question is, for the same person that asked about the prepay policy as, unless you are in a nationwide program, correct? Would it then be,
I don't know of any prepay that is nationwide. And you can go back and do your research on that, but I don't know of any prepaid that is nationwide. I do know that there is one, maybe two states
okay?
out of the 50 that may allow you to transfer. But again, when you're dealing with that, and normally it's like a third party,
Okay,
so it may not even been the funeral home that did a prepay.
right. Okay,
So there again, to have a supplemental like this, it doesn't matter where you live in the 50 states and our territories. We even negotiate making sure that your body is transported to
that's
where you want to go.
okay. This person said, thank you so much for answering the question. And
Yes, yes.
then also, oh, my cousin, William Perkins said, hey, I'm on, cuz. Hope you're safe. This is a shout out
Hi,
in advance.
William. How are
Hi,
you?
William. Hi, William. Okay. So the next question is, can a person only get coverage on themselves with final expenses?
No, that's a good question. You can get coverage on your sister, your mother, your
Hmm.
brother. I raised my niece, who's now 35 years old. I had legal custody of her, so she was my dependent. So I can take out a life insurance policy on her. Now, you have to have what they call an interest in the family. It cannot be like, that's just Kim, you just my girlfriend, and
Right.
no, it has to be a family member. There are specific questions that's and it's regulated, but yes, you can. Even, you have people who are separated.
Mm.
I have a judge in Georgia who I'm actually working with because she's in the judge in the juvenile courts. And
Okay.
so when you're going through divorces, or even if you're not married, they always talk about child support. But one of the things that they always skip is, what if that person dies? What's going to happen to the child because they no longer have that support coming in for that child or those children?
Mhm.
Life insurance is the best thing because now, I have taken a policy out on my ex-husband, but it's not for me, it's for the children. Even if I want to take the policy out, I can pay the policy, but the children are the beneficiary.
Mm. That's really good. So you don't, do you have to have the person's permission is a question that's on here.
You are married, then you can do that. Now, with, for instance, like my brother, I didn't have to have his permission to take a policy out on him. I just needed to, of course, I had his social security number. Um, if you have their social security number, it happens all the time that you can do that because a lot of I have a friend who lives in Maryland, and you know when I was visiting in Virginia, she was like, I've got to do something to help my brother. So we called her brother and said, hey, um, I have Samantha Benson here. She's a licensed insurance agent advisor, and I am licensed in the state of Virginia. And I know that you are not working right now, or whatever reason you may have. I want your social security number. Is that okay? Because I'm going to go ahead and take that policy out on you. So she's the payer, but he's the insured. So if anything happens to him, now she has a final expense to pay for his burial instead of GoFundMe. Because
Right.
I don't, for funerals, we've got to learn how to fund ourselves and not put burdens on other people.
Right. And you saw me bust out laughing right in the middle of you talking about a very serious topic. Someone put in the comment section, "Oh, so you mean I can't get $1 million policy on my ex-son-in-law? I guess I'll have to cancel it."
Now,
So
here's the
someone
thing.
finding humor in the midst of this topic.
That's true. That's true. So let me tell you this. I can write $1 million policies, but those aren't for final expense. So I'm all inclusive. I want you to come and so I can be your specialist, your personal concierge. That's what I do. That's how I brand myself and all the business that I've done from banking to working with the federal government. I am the solutionist. I love so much to help individuals, even to learn how to use life insurance for your business. That's a whole nother thing we'll talk about later. But this is between life insurance and final expense today.
Well, another person asked the question of how long before the policy matures,
For a whole life?
or probably a whole life. I'm assuming it just says how long for the policy to mature. I don't know what policy though. Probably the whole life.
Well, here's the thing with the whole life policy. You can actually get coverage starting today. So a lot of companies have waiting periods with who I am affiliated with. If you have cancer or had cancer, HIV, AIDS, have a loved one who's incarcerated, I can get them insured today and coverage starts immediately.
And it's not based on, okay, so I'm typing that because I want to put a comment here. That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I had a client.
you can get whole life coverage today, and even with precondition, even with pre-existing conditions,
Yes,
right?
COPD, diabetes, yes. A lot of carriers will not issue you policies based on certain health conditions, but I'm able to do that. I had one of my clients. I drove up to Fayetteville last month to see her, and I was able to get her insured in the hospital.
Hmm. Okay.
A lot of carriers they won't do that, but I
And is
have the
it based on credit
capability.
or anything, or just no, none of that?
Say that again?
Is it based on credit or anything?
No, no.
Okay. So listen, everyone that's reaching out to Samantha Benson, let her know that Kim Jacobs referred you and that you heard it on the Kim Jacobs show, so that she'll be able to track that I sent you her way, not
Yes,
based
yes, please do.
not based on credit. That's important too.
And again, a whole life policies, they build cash value. So, after your policy has been enforced for a specified amount of time, that's when it's starting to accrue the cash value. The longer, and again, a whole life policy does not expire and terminate, Kim.
Wow.
So, again, I want to go back and I want to just touch on that term policy that you've gotten at your job. Because when you are, and the only way that policy is going to pay out is that you have to die on that job.
Hmm.
And I say it like that because if you're no longer with that company, you don't have life insurance. And even if you purchase individually some term policies, they're 10, 20 year, 30 year, you have got to die in between that dash. Like that.
Wow.
See, that's the dash. You've got to die in between the dash in order for that life insurance policy to pay out. And it doesn't have any kind of cash value. So, and here's a lot of things that I face because, I really work with a lot of older generation.
Hmm.
I was in Gaffney, South Carolina last month. I had a couple that called me, and she just turned 71,
Okay.
and her policy terminated because she had term.
Ah,
Some family member told her that term was the way to go. Now, because of her health conditions, she couldn't. That company that she was with would not insure her, so that's
oh,
why she called me. And again, having this particular supplemental final expense with me,
yeah.
that membership takes care of your four other family members to have the same things locked in.
Hmm.
Um, Discount prescription. If you have diabetes, now you can get your shoes at a discounted reduced rate. My
Right.
sister is my only living sister now. I mean, she's deaf and she has this, so she was able to get her hearing aids at a reduced cost. You're able to go to the National Hearing Institution and have your hearing checked for
Hmm.
free. 3 years worth of batteries for your hearing aids. Those are costly.
Wow.
we find ways to make it so that people, just don't are not being taken advantage of, and just giving something back to people is so important instead of taking. And
This is good information. This is some good information, Samantha. Somebody wanted to know, can a trust be a beneficiary for your whole life policy? Can a trust?
oh wow, yes. Oh, I'm so glad they asked that question. I'm working with pastors here who have just been going to funeral homes because this was before coronavirus really started, up here in Kannapolis. And so you can even leave a portion or all of your supplemental if you wanted to, or life insurance to a charity, because now that charity keeps funding. You keep funding that charity, and that's where that trust comes in, Kim, because the wealthy of the wealthiest use life insurance to carry on generational wealth. They
Wow.
do it through life insurance. The
And
current president that we have, his family, his father, and go look it up. They generated his wealth. They started when he was young in a
wow.
trust. So now you have money to live on. Inflation is going through the roof. Retirement's not going to carry you any place, especially our seniors who are on fixed income. And my church mother, who's 74 years old, said, Samantha, if I'd have known you 20 years ago, I would have done the life insurance the way to set it up for tax-free retirement. That's another segment you got to get me on.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we can do it. You just
Yes.
tell me when you're
Yeah.
set.
I mean,
I'm
today
so booked right now on the Kim
I'm giving
Jacobs
out
show. I'll have to get back to you next year.
I'm giving out bits and some nuggets here. These are
This
valuable
is
nuggets.
great information, and people are typing and saying that they're definitely going to give you a call. One thing I will let you all know too is that Samantha shared with me that she would give a donation to Gabe's Heart Foundation, and so I'm big on total transparency. I'm not going to get on here and not tell you that she said that she would be willing to donate to Gabe's Heart Foundation.
Absolutely.
And so, just so you know, when you do say that Kim Jacobs referred you from the Kim Jacobs show, the organization in honor of my 12-year-old son, Gabriel Michael Jacobs, that passed away with a heart defect, a donation will go to Gabe's Heart Foundation when you sign up with the program that Samantha is referring to. And I think I'm going to be learning more about this program myself because it's
Yeah.
not like I already knew about it and was signed up. I wasn't either until I'm hearing what you're saying today. So thank
Oh,
you.
yeah. That's why I'm a specialist. I don't do anything halfway, ever, ever. Even when I was in the banking world, I took time to give people knowledge, but it's just not the knowledge, Kim. It is about applying it because it changes generational lifestyles.
Mhm.
And so, everything that I do it full, complete. Nothing is half stepping with me. So that's why I'm all inclusive in everything that I do. And if I can't assist you, I have an affiliation to something or someone that's going to be able to assist
That's
you.
right.
Now, one thing I want to say again with this supplemental and the whole life policies
Okay.
and the membership, it doesn't increase.
It does not increase
It
over
does
here.
not
It's
increase.
important too.
When you have a term policy and it terminates, so I just turned 50 last Wednesday, right?
Okay.
So the younger you are, the less expensive. The younger you are, the less expensive it is. I encourage you, everyone who is on this Facebook Live on Kim's show, you have young
And
children.
YouTube as well, because it's going to be on YouTube and it's going to be on
Yes,
a podcast. So if you're listening on the podcast or you're watching on the Kim Jacobs YouTube show, then it's all over the place. So now what are you going to say? Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead. I done abbreviated your name, girl. I'm
look,
like, go ahead, Sam.
you know what? That happens all the time. It doesn't even bother me. So yeah, I was like, okay.
Go ahead.
But the younger your children are, you should even have a supplemental policy for final expense on them because children are dying. Um, so I know someone who I'm affiliated with. Her son just died last Monday, and my church member, she had two of her daughters just lost babies after they were born. One last year and one this year. So it doesn't matter how young you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how old you are. Death has no discrimination. And nor does the funeral homes. And again, they are in business to take care of your loved ones. They do an excellent job. But my passion and my purpose is to make sure you as a family is not taken advantage of, and you and your legacy who is now left behind living has something. That's important to me.
It's very important.
That is very important for me. And that means that I'm doing something while I'm here on this earth. And that's because at the end of the day, I don't care about the title. I care about helping people from my heart. I really do. That
Yeah,
and that's
I
I
do
mean
too.
that's
I
just
love
me.
helping people. Love it. So that's why I brought you on and
Oh,
other people that are interested in being a guest on the Kim Jacobs show. And you have some valuable information that can help the community, especially during this whole coronavirus outbreak and pandemic that's happening. Please make sure you reach out to me, Kim, at thebalancedoctor.tv and let me know that you want to be on my show, and I'll figure out a way to try to get you on some kind of way, especially if I think it's going to help people. And
definitely. And Kim, this is
yeah.
a little nugget here that I want people to reach out to me today. If you are a homeowner and you have a live current mortgage, whether it is 20, 25 years, 30-year mortgage,
Mhm.
this homeowner protector, okay, protects you. That means if you are have a critical illness,
Mhm.
you have kids, well, right now nobody is in daycare, but let me just pull this over right here. Okay, so this homeowner protector that I'm able to provide as one of my services, these are the living benefits, right? That
Mhm.
are paid directly to you,
Okay.
meaning you, like you, Kim. In this way, you,
Oh, I'm
Kim.
looking at the screen. It's like over here.
I'm learning this, okay? So the living benefits that's paid directly to you.
Okay.
Um, Lost income. So now, with everything that's going on, right?
Right.
You need another source of income. Having this insurance, this type of insurance, this is for homeowners only. loss of income, now you can pay yourself through this
So
while
let me
you're
understand,
while
you
you're
have to
alive.
be a member in order to, like, if I reached out to you, because I don't know about Samantha's program in detail myself personally, because I haven't signed up either, but I'm going to definitely learn a lot more. But let me get clarity. Am I to become a member in
No,
order
this
for
is the
have benefits?
homeowner. The homeowner protector is separate from final expense. Final expense is its own entity unit, right? So the homeowner, this is just another service that I provide that's separate from final expense. Okay, but the homeowner protector insurance. So you when you're surviving critical illnesses, a job loss, right?
Right, that's correct.
Now you have income coming in. So now you can pay your auto payment. Now you can pay on that credit card bill. Now you can pay that the copay if you're going to the doctor for some type of, with your health care. Um, it even covers if you're having home health care coming into your home.
Okay,
Okay, so it helps with your quality of life, childcare and housekeeping expenses. Um, treatment for drugs, meaning like your cancer or whatever that it may be, because this is a critical illness. It does not mean street drugs. Okay, and it replaces a paycheck, and it helps keeps your business going. For those of you who are entrepreneurs and have businesses, really reach out to me today. Let's have that conversation because again, on the final expense, but I have this and home realtors don't even know about this.
real what?
Realtors.
Your something is scratching on your earpiece, so
There we
take
go.
it
I
away
was
from
pulling
your
it
ear.
around.
Oh, okay.
The realtors don't even know about this insurance because this is not PMI. This is not your insurance that if your house burned down or you have a leak in the ceiling, this insurance protects you, and
Okay.
and it is incredible. And so based on move my arm around here, based on a couple of things, because everything is customized. So even with the final expense, I can also customize that because
That's really good information.
yes.
People are reaching out and saying, like, one of my friends, actually, her name is Sean, said, "Thank you, Kim. This is gold. Like, this is some great information and very helpful." So people are going to reach out to you. They've been typing it in the comment section. And I
Thank
have
you.
here another question of what is funeral advocate program? What does that mean? What is a funeral advocate program? Explain that.
Yeah, well, definitely. We've been touching on that for a while through the interview. So you have what is called the wish team. And so
Okay.
again, through that advocacy, that program, no other insurance companies out there have this. Was what I'm affiliated with. I mean,
Okay.
this is exclusive to me. Nobody else has it. You would call me, or you would call the Wish team directly, because you'll be given a membership card. And so when I sit down with you because nobody likes to talk about death. That's just like taboo,
Yeah.
you know? Um, Even my own ex-husband at one time said, Samantha, you talk about death so much. I'm like, dude, we were dating since I was 16. He was
Right.
18. You've been there all through everything with me. And when we got divorced, I was thinking, God, what if something happens to me? You know? Yeah, I know our kids would go with him to live with him, and we had joint custody. But then I thought, geez, what if something happens to both of us? Then how they're gonna survive?
Right.
I was thinking that's not morbid. I'm thinking of the future of my children,
Of
their
course.
survival, their stability. I've lived through 9/11. I've lived through anthrax. I've lived through the earthquake in DC. Come on.
Yeah,
But I'm just thinking of survival and my legacy carrying on. And that's what life insurance does. It's for the living and to be able to learn how to utilize it while you're alive. With
that's
whole
such a good
life,
way to put it. I mean, I literally have never heard it put that way. That life insurance is for the living.
it
And
is.
that's just such a good
It's for the
visual.
living.
And
It's
then the
for the living.
funeral,
That,
the
yeah.
final expense is for the passing and dealing with those arrangements so that you don't.
Yes.
So based on what I'm understanding you to say, because I've kind of learned some things on this interview myself, the
Hmm.
life insurance is for the people that remain living and you can live off of and function and thrive.
Yes.
But then the final expense, based on what I'm hearing you say, is to cover any expenditures for the person that's passing away so that it doesn't have to tap into the living life insurance.
Yes. You put it perfectly. Yes.
I think
Woo!
I learned something. I learned
You
something.
put it perfectly right there. And so when you have that supplemental policy, there's always somebody in the family that lives out of state that, everybody has to pull in monies together to get to
Mhm.
the funeral. Now you have an extra.
I love it. I
You
love it.
have
It
extra.
sounds incredible.
And
What's
then,
the payout
you know,
time frame?
look,
That was another question I had to get the answer into before we end this interview. What's the payout time frame? Because sometimes it takes a lot for people to jump through a lot of hoops before the payout happens.
with the final expense, we've had it pay out in 3 hours.
Really?
3 hours. So if your loved one dies, say in the hospital, the
Wow.
hospital would call. We don't even need the death certificate. The hospital would call me, and I would go ahead and start the arrangements, and they would pay directly with. And we've had it as fast as 3 hours. We are in the business of making sure that it's proficient. Now, life insurance policies can take up to 6 weeks or more.
Right.
Final expense is different,
Mhm.
especially who coming through me. And
Okay.
that's what you want. And now you can get to love on your loved ones and not have to deal with all the details of it, because guess what? I sit down with you individually and give me one. Can I step away for 1 second? I need to get
Okay, let
something.
me just do this so I can hide your screen so nobody sees you. Okay. Go ahead. I already did. I did. I did. So right now you're seeing me, Kim Jacobs, the balance doctor, and she will be right back on in a few seconds. And some really good information that she shared. Uh, Definitely say that Kim Jacobs referred you for this program, and she's coming back. Once you get situated, let me know, Samantha, and I'll pop you back on the screen. Okay. I think, wait a minute, it's going to show you.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, now
Okay.
it's going to be on the opposite side.
Ah.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm thrown off. And I am back over here.
Ah.
I'm here on the Kim Jacobs show. I'm going to be on this right side.
I don't know how that happened. You're doing great with this.
Go ahead, Samantha.
Well, I was looking for something in particular. I thought I had it with me, but I sit down with you individually and have a wish book, right? And
Mhm.
so I sit down and I go through every single thing with you, meaning, what's your favorite color? What ring do you want to wear? Do you want your glasses on? Do you want your glasses off?
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So, what music do you want? What do you want said at your eulogy? Who do you want as your pallbearers if you want a traditional? If you want a cremation, do you want a viewing? Do you not want a viewing? Because all those details matter, and that's where the amount goes up when you go to the funeral home. I don't expect you to negotiate that.
Hmm. That's
I
incredible.
I represent Kim Jacobs. I represent Kim Jacobs' husband. I represent Kim Jacobs' children. And
Hmm.
the funeral home of that you tell me that you want to use, I call them up and I say, understand, I represent the family, and we are calling 2 other funeral homes, and we want the best possible price. I know she wants to use your services, but you're going to have to come down in those prices. Period.
That's how you say it, like that?
Period. Look, I thought when I was
You
in
have to come down
college,
on those prices, and do you actually verbally say, period?
for me, it's period. For me, it's period. Because, I had thought that I was going to go off to college and become a corporate lawyer, but
Uh-huh.
I'm so much for the people. And I just to make sure, even like I said, even when I was in my other career fields in banking and I do consulting, I've always been able to save the bank's money, my clients' money in banking, the federal government money, in any type of contract I was working with them. I mean, I have, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm telling you this because this is my passion to save and to incorporate families to not have to deal with the things that I went through
That's a
at
blessing.
20, 22, and 24. Every 2 years, every 2 years. I was so stressed when my dad died, I wound up having, at 20 years old, a grand mal seizure. They said I had epilepsy. No, it was stress. I was very close to my father. Had I had a wish team like what I have for this advocacy, oh, you believe me when I say my children will not have to go through what I went through because I have taken the necessary steps.
That's a major blessing, what you're saying, that you're
Yes,
willing to make sure that your children don't have to suffer and be traumatized the way that you experienced. And I mean, even myself, I was traumatized when my son passed away. I mean, there are no
yes,
words that anybody can describe what the death of a parent or a
yeah.
child or any loved one. I'm sure that you have your own different experiences with, but
You
that,
know,
I mean, there
Kim,
are
I
physical
can't even
things that happen.
imagine, you
Yeah,
know, the,
disgust.
the experience that you've gone through. There's no words that can say except that all the things that I'm saying and for the advocacy, that would have given you such a peace of mind.
I'll say yes, it definitely would have, because nobody mentally thinks in advance that, oh, my child may pass before me. I
Yeah.
can't think that. I just could not process it that way ever. But then once it happens in your life, then you're automatically scrambling around trying to figure out, oh my gosh, now I need to get writers and other things on all of my children, because there's a real possibility that once something happens, it becomes a real possibility that it can happen in your life. And now you
Yes.
real the realness of it, you know? So
Yes. Um, I had before we go, I have different organizations that reach out to me. Just went up to Fayetteville again, and actually, it's one of my clients here in Gastonia, North Carolina, that asked me to reach out to his motorcycle club. They have 75 chapters across the country because he sees the value in
mhm.
this. And again, I'm saying if you don't even want to give your children something to go on, but I gotta say, the Word of God says that you are supposed to leave your children, hear me, children,
Children's children.
an inheritance.
Yes,
So I don't care if it is $1 billion to $10,000.
right.
Give them peace of mind and leaving them something to get out of that generational rut of not having.
Well, I'm grateful. Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Say what you were finishing
Yeah.
saying. That's-
Um, so the charities, even your son's organization that you have, created. So that with the churches and the endowments, you can leave as a beneficiary. You don't have, may not want to leave all of the monies to them, but you can leave a portion of them in your name. Guess what? Now that that money that you've left to them, now it can go to a scholarship. Now it can be used for building fund. Now it can be used for outreach in the community. That is an honor of you, and your legacy carries on. That is incredible. And that's what life insurance does. That's even what the final expense does too, because, you can then now leave some monies to your church, because there may be a family that doesn't have anything. Now the church has money to come in to me and say, hey, we need your services to be an advocate. How
Yeah.
much does that casket cost?
Yeah.
It ain't gonna cost you $6,000
That's
for
some good
real.
information. You're going to get some phone calls, I'm very sure, today, tomorrow, over the next few days, because people, let me put your information here again. Samantha
Yeah.
Benson, and she's an insurance advisor, final expense specialist. Now I understand what that means. Literally, a final expense specialist, and she knows what she's talking about. I am excited. I'm just excited that I've had you here today on the Kim Jacobs Show. So thank you. Let me turn. Look,
Look, before we go, Kim, before we go, I
yeah.
want to let you know, part of the stimulus is
Mhm.
me. I am hiring. I am hiring all across the country. I will I will help you with paying for your exam to become a licensed agent and all your fees. Please, please, please. People are just sitting at home, Kim, and they're thinking, how am I gonna, they may not have a job to go back to.
I'm typing this.
So have them reach out to me. I mean, if they're really serious in doing what I'm doing, and I think I wound up sending you some statistics about the insurance industry. You know, guys, ladies, it is a shortage, and we need you. Our country needs you. I mean, if you have a heart to serve, you know, it's such a rewarding field to be in. You know, we're not used car salesmen and used car saleswomen. We actually make a difference. So I am hiring. My goal is to hire 2,000 plus insurance agents from starting today to the rest of the year. And also telemedicine. I'm going to touch on that. I am a telemedicine manager slash broker. So
Okay.
what that means is you have access to virtual doctors, like we're doing this stream. You
Mhm.
can you can have FaceTime with a board certified doctor. The ERs are not wanting you in the ERs right now due to the COVID-19.
Mhm.
Okay, you can do a self assessment with. We have something that we've created that you can do a self assessment to see if you have the COVID-19. And Kim, I'm going to afterwards, I'm going to send that link to you. So, and I want brokers for that too. So
Okay.
here's another thing. I c- I'm just one person, but when I have you, Kim, and when
Mhm.
I have your network of people,
Mhm.
that we can touch so many people's lives and help them.
Well,
And so for a family of 8,
mhm.
the promo code that I'll make specially, I'll actually create it in Gabe's name.
Okay.
I'll do a promo code in Gabe's name, and so that means a family of 8, up to 8. The monthly is $14.95, but
Mhm.
now you have access to board certified doctors 365 days a year. Okay? That even when you're on travel, even if you're out of the country, you can at least talk to a doctor. Okay? And
Mhm.
so right now, everybody's in stress mode. Now you have access to licensed therapists that you can talk to. That's important. Not only with the COVID, but just life in general. Because sometimes we don't talk to anyone. And as a black race, we think going to a therapist is, We ain't crazy. We just
Right.
need to release. We need to release to somebody that is neutral. And
That's right.
so it's unlimited. There's no copays. This does not replace your health insurance if you have health insurance. But for
Mhm.
families and business owners who don't have health insurance, now you have access to board certified doctors. You can call them and they can send your prescription into any pharmacy that you want wherever you are, except for opioids. You have to go in and see a live physician for that. But this is incredible. So, insurance agent advisors, I am hiring. Like I said, I'm taking the time. This is money that's coming out of my pocket to help you to change and adjust and to help some other individuals across the country.
Well, good.
And also the telemedicine brokers. I have, if they, when they reach out to me, Kim, I'm going to get them on some calls, and we'll go from there. Okay?
Well, wow. You didn't even drink any water the whole time. I'm like, how do you not say all how do you say all of that without getting dehydrated? But
Well, you know what?
wow.
My dad was Puerto Rican. My mother's black, so I don't know how to speak Spanish, but I do know how to talk fast because I'm a native Brooklyn. But I used to speak much faster than I just said right there.
Well, you did a great job, that's for sure. I am so grateful to have you on today, Samantha Benson. Woo!
Yeah.
I have
I
my
wish
live
I could see
audience
the
will all be
questions that they
clapping.
have.
Thank you. This was great information that
So
you shared.
don't hesitate. They can reach out to me. I go to sleep late, so I will be up and I want to help people today.
Okay. Well, let
So,
me give you
yeah.
ways to reach out to Samantha. You can reach her via email at insured.sbenson@gmail.com. Insured.sbenson@gmail.com. You can also contact her via phone, and the phone number is 704
Mm-hmm.
499 3616. 704 499 3616. I encourage you to go and subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show and turn on your notifications. Tell your friends that I'm putting out content that I believe 100% will help people, especially when we're all trying to figure out what to do in these trying times with
Yes.
COVID-19 and the pandemic outbreak that's happening. These are solutions that I'm simply providing to you. I'm a huge solutions provider. As the balance doctor, if there's a way to make something get out there to you guys so you can be able to start implementing it today, then you're going to get that information from the Kim Jacobs Show. If there's a way to do it, I'm going to pump it out to you guys. I'm not charging you anything for the show. I just encourage you to get this information, and if it applies to your life, then utilize it. If
And
it's
share it.
then share it. Share it with your friends, with your family members, with your coworkers. Get involved in investing in your own life to the point where this
Yes.
is going to be beneficial to me, and I'm going to do it now. I'm not going to put it off until something happens and then it's like, dog, I should have called this lady Samantha Benson. Go ahead and do it now. Give her a
Yes.
call. Go ahead.
Especially what's going on right now. You don't know, laws are changing really fast.
Oh yeah.
So you got to get insured.
Yes, I
This
agree.
is self-care and family care. And you said something that sparked a memory. One of the things too, when people are going through job loss, Kim, is they cancel their life insurance.
Mhm.
Wrong. It's the wrong thing to do. They see it as another bill. This is self-care and family care with the insurances that I offer. And I do offer some term. And again, it's customized to what you want. I'm never going to tell you, like, no. I'm going to say, look at getting both.
Right.
And so, and again, I can insure someone up to like, $1 million plus. And when I'm doing the term, then a lot of companies will, make you do medicals. No. And here's the thing: I with this COVID 19,
Hmm.
I have when they call me, they'll do electronic signatures. So everything is virtual.
Woo, this is good.
And I'll make sure, too, when they have what is called a loan provision in there. So loan provisions, like when you have a job loss, if you have a critical illness, so the policy doesn't lapse, you have cash value in it, then it will pull from that death benefit amount, right? So
Mhm.
you're still covered. People don't know this, and that's what sets me above and beyond from any other insurance person because I specialize.
So there you have it. I'm going to pop this phone number back up here again. Reach out to Samantha Benson. She's waiting for your call. You can definitely reach out to her. She's excited to serve you. And I think she's kind of looking forward to serving you and willing to even
Yes.
pay for some things on your behalf. So her phone number is right there below and it's scrolling. Am I doing my fingers right?
I don't know. I don't see it.
Okay. So anyway, 704-499-3616. Reach out to Samantha Benson today. Thank you, Samantha, for being my guest on the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank
And
you.
I'm so grateful to have had you today. Any final word?
Yes. Start today. Tomorrow's not promised. The next breath is not promised. Things are changing so fast. And guess what? There are extra monies that you have because you're not going to McDonald's to eat, you're not going to spending gas. So a small supplemental policy in taking care of this right now, it really does matter because you don't know what's going to come down the pike. Like with before today is over, laws are changing and being rewritten right now. And so I'm just letting you know too that I am also part of what is it called, Kim? They say first responders. And
Okay.
it's actually the commissioner has written a letter to the governor stating that agents such as myself here in the state of North Carolina are first responders because people need to make sure that the policies are in order. I will do complimentary looks for you. I don't charge for those, but it is critical that you get this done today. Again, as Kim has stated, share me, share me, share me, share me, share me, and let me be a blessing to you.
Wow. I think you've
Thank you.
already been a blessing to all of those that are today. And you'll be a further blessing as they reach out to you at 704-499-3616. Thank you guys for watching the Kim
Thank
Jacobs.
you.
Thank you for being on, Samantha. And make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show today. You can click on the link right there in the comment section and turn on your notifications, share it with your friends, family, loved ones, church members, people that are home, that are friends from church, from school, from your kids, families, everybody. Just tell somebody that the Kim Jacobs Show is on the air, okay? Have a
Yes.
great day, and let me make sure I put your information back up one more time
Okay.
so people get the opportunity to see how they can contact you. Samantha Benson, insurance advisor and final expense specialist. You can reach her by contacting her at 704-499-3616. Thank you all so much for tuning in today and have a great day.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Samantha. Bye bye.
Bye bye.